How are you doing today? I am here to share with you guys what really happens when you stop dieting. So, this is a very potentially controversial topic, so here we go. So, if you guys are watching with me live this morning, please say hello. I'd love to say hi back to you. I always love seeing who pops in and sees my videos and finds them helpful. So I know that I should keep on doing what I'm doing. And then if you guys are watching on the replay, just hashtag replay, and I'll make sure I come back on later and then say hi to you then. So just a little bit of housekeeping stuff before we get started, you guys. If you are watching on Facebook this morning, I would invite you to head on over to YouTube, hit the subscribe button and the bell, and that will make sure that you receive notifications for each time that I come live, which is Monday to Friday around 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And on my YouTube channel, you will find yoga videos, meditation, self-love topics like this one, mindful eating tips, mindful movement, all things to do with my self-love at any size method. So let's get into it, you guys. What really happens when you stop dieting? So this is, there's probably a lot of you out there that may still diet, and that's okay. No judgment from me. But the thing is, we have to really take a look at how we are feeling about our body. So are you kind of deeply in love with, every inch of your beautiful and perfect body? Chances are that the answer is no. So many of us have struggled for years or decades with our body image. You may have tried diets like Atkins, Weight Watchers, keto, low carb, intermittent fasting, and beyond, right? I've done those things like those cabbage soup diets or those drinking nothing but water for 4 days. And the thing we have to realize is that these things actually don't work. Not in the long term anyway. Like you may see temporary results, but the thing is this repeated and long-term dieting mentality and dieting that we put our bodies through, it really messes with our hormones and our metabolism. I'm going to make sure my video's up here. So when I start thinking about my own journey, I realized that it took me like 3 decades, which is crazy to say out loud, of like yo-yo dieting back and forth, cycling between these weight extremes to realize that maybe there is a better way. So when we're talking about diets and realizing that they don't work in the long term and how they mess up our body and our brain, we need to learn on what to do instead. So I had a couple books that I have recently read in the past 2 years that have really transformed the way that I see myself and the way that I see my relationship with food. And so one of those is the Intuitive Eating book, and I'll try and put that in the comments later, or just look up Intuitive Eating and you will find them. There are 2 ladies that have done this book, and it's amazing, life-changing. And the other one is called the Unfuck It Diet, or the Fuck It Diet. It's pardon my language, but it's a transformational book too, and this woman really connects how our body and brain are affected by weight gain, weight loss, like the yo-yo diet mentality or the way of being. So what we want to realize is that, or what I want you guys to kind of go with me on this little journey. I remember very clearly the day that I stopped dieting, and it's crazy how these moments stick with you, right? I was super scared. I almost felt like I was giving up on myself. I thought, what was going to happen? Was I just going to eat until I exploded? Was I going to gain 1 million pounds? Was people going to think differently of me? Were they going to not be friends with me? Like, there were so many thoughts going through my head when I finally decided to stop dieting. It was on a January 1st, 2 years ago. And I remember, the topic comes up this time of year, or that time of year, January 1st, of like, oh, how many pounds are you going to lose this year? And I said, no. I said, I don't have a weight loss goal this year. I just want to move my body. I want to fuel my body with good food, and I'm just going to see where it goes. So that was super scary for me, and I was terrified, to be honest, but I really knew that something had to change. So the thing is how what makes it so scary is that society tells us that getting fat is worse than death. And so of course it's scary, right? And I'm not using the term fat with judgment. All bodies are okay. And I think it's important that we really kind of desensitize the word fat. So what happens when we stop dieting? Or when I stopped dieting, I'm going to explain to you guys and take you on this little journey with me. So at first, I did eat whatever I wanted. I gave myself that full and total permission, which is what intuitive eating teaches you, to have no foods off limits. So there was a period in my transition to intuitive eating that I ate whatever I wanted. I let my brain and my body know that we weren't going to go back into that starvation mode or that famine mode. That famine state is really what is so hard on our bodies, because our bodies don't know when to expect food next. And so when we do get food, our brains and our bodies are kind of like, oh, give us all the food because we don't know when it's going to come next, right? So really this process allowed me to start to listen to my body and start to really pick up on those cues that were allowing me to know, what foods made me feel good, what foods made me feel crappy, what foods I loved, what foods I kind of started to not maybe like as much. And the thing is the thing that I know a lot of people will shy away from this because of this, but I did gain some weight. I gained some weight and I was worried and down, and I felt, well, maybe this isn't what I should be doing. But I reminded myself of the sadness and the painful misery that I went and the self-hate I had for myself when I was dieting, and knowing that just wasn't an option for me anymore. I also did a really big overhaul on my social media feed. So I really took away anybody that wasn't serving me anymore. I would make sure I would, get rid of any, talk about dieting or worthiness or, look at me, I'm worthy and lovable now because look at all the weight I've lost. I just got rid of those things because those things weren't serving me in my journey, and followed more accounts that were more body positive and, health at every size and intuitive eating and mindful movement, just all kind of areas of my life that I needed to feel supported by. So eventually I learned to trust the process. I was actually surprised how fast it actually happened for me. I no longer kind of craved cakes and cookies and cheeseburgers and chips. Yes, I still ate them, but my forbidden foods that I wouldn't allow myself to eat, like the bread and the pasta and the sweets, those really kind of become uninteresting as you kind of go on this intuitive eating journey, because you really figure out when you start to connect to your body's going to tell you the foods that it wants and the foods that are going to nourish it and make it feel alive and healthy. And those other foods are going to become less interesting eventually. Yes, you're still going to eat them. I'm not saying that, but they really become less important when you kind of take that power away from those foods. So as I trust the process, it definitely is a process, and I want people to realize that it's not easy. And it's going to be hard, but really, I think that, when I started to take that kind of bad food, good food label away from my food, then that tension and desire vanished. So it's just knowing that there is, the process you go through is really hard, but it's really cool to see the other side of it. So now that I'm kind of at a place where I no longer am obsessed with losing weight, I really have come to a place of enjoying movement that I never did before. I would never do movement unless it had a high calorie value from it. If the workout promised me I was gonna, I was gonna burn 1,000 calories, then I was gonna do that workout. If there was no really I remember looking at my fitness app, and I would look at, okay, how many calories are in a walk for 20 minutes or a run for 20 minutes? And then if they were kind of low, then I'd be like, oh, I don't want to do that. So I would base my movement on how much calories I was going to burn, not because I actually enjoyed it. So now I spend time doing things that I love, kayaking in the summer. I would go kayaking every day if I could. walking, dancing, yoga, like all these movements that maybe they don't have the highest caloric value when it comes to burning calories, but I love them and they make me feel good, and I focus on how good they make me feel physically and mentally. And really, it's just important that once you kind of get rid of that whole diet mentality, that life opens you up to all these more important things, like spending more time with your family and friends, doing the things that you love, not doing things just because you have to do them to achieve an outcome. So, I realized that I know my journey, my feelings and my body, and my feelings about food are going to evolve and change over time, and that's okay. But I really feel confident that the changes that I have made are really helping me to realize, and I hope other people realize, that we cannot base our self-worth on how we look and on our size. So I want us all to feel strong and confident and beautiful and capable and grateful for all the amazing things that our bodies do for us. And I'm committed to continue my journey and also stand beside other women as they go on that journey as well. And just to realize that it's not all rainbows and unicorns. There are times that you'll want to go back to the old ways or the familiar things like dieting and structure with all that comes with that. But just know that you will be so grateful that you kept going and that you kind of developed that intense self-love, love for your body, love for yourself that you never knew was possible. So you may have to deal with those feelings of discomfort in those uneasy transitional phases, but you will almost certainly have, that awe-inspiring moments, and, you will lose that kind of war that you had with yourself over defining your beauty over your size. So it is so worth it in the end, but, so I hope that was helpful for you guys. I just kind of wanted to share a little bit of my own journey with intuitive eating or mindful eating, and knowing that, getting rid of that word in your life, the word diet, is scary, but there is a lot of beauty to be found when you start to release all those things that no longer serve you, which is an amazing, time of year, especially right now, just to letting in full moon too. Just recently, there's all these reasons why it's important to let go of things that are no longer serving us. So I hope that was helpful for you guys, and I hope it maybe inspired you to take maybe a deeper look into intuitive eating, realizing that there is a better way. So if you guys want any help or need any guidance or need to chat about this stuff, I would love to chat with you. This stuff really motivates me and gets me all fired up, and I just love I love the journey that I'm on, and I love how I can help people through that journey as well. So a couple things before I pop out of here, you guys. If you are not in my community already, I have a group called Imperfectly Perfect You, helping women to find self-love at any size, taking brave leaps towards body acceptance. So if you want to be a part of this community, just click the link in the description of the video, and we would love to welcome you with open arms. And then a couple other things. If you guys are not already familiar, I have a program called the Self-Love Revolution with Martina. This program is taking that deep dive, helping women to start to show up for life with confidence, start to accept and respect their body, just really take those brave leaps towards acceptance and respect. And they're not easy, and that's why I've created this program, is to help you take those leaps with a whole community of women beside you. This program, not only, like, I know oftentimes women will look at this program and they'll think, I can't invest that in myself. I'm a mom, or I am a wife, or I have a business, and I just can't afford one more thing. But the thing I want you to realize is when you start to take these brave leaps for yourself, you're going to notice it in not only your lives, but the lives of your kids, the lives of your spouse, your friends, your family. They are watching you. And if you take the brave leaps towards inner healing and body acceptance, like, if we are always talking ourselves down and saying how ugly we are and how unworthy we are and how we are a failure, then, that behavior and negative talk is going to be reflected in your kids and your spouse and your friends. So it's really time to start to invest in yourself, not only for yourself, but for your family. So if you want to take this leap with me, I have lots of fun bonuses for the next couple of people that sign up. There are plans as low as $27 a month to be a part of this community and have me as your coach for life. So I would love to welcome you into this program and start to help you just shine brightly and be, that person who you love to see in the mirror. So I would be so grateful to be able to have you within this program. The women who are going through it already are just seeing so much incredible transformation already. And so it's 40% off right now too, which is crazy. So anyway, I wanted to quickly talk to you guys about that. And then one more thing before I pop out,